happy with me, but anyway, so we got a match. We got round 4.
Alcyon Glaze was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so here we have a match that's between Matthew Strangel and Joshua Wiitanen. Joshua is armed with a Rug Delver deck, and Matthew is playing.
What is this? Sakura
okay, so no, it's Burning Witch deck.
Bolt? Thoughtseize, Devastating, Maelstrom Pulse. It is a Jund control deck with one veteran. What?
Yeah, okay, so have the
we're just going to say every card that's in his deck because it's very confusing. All right. 1 Thrun, 1 Troll Ascetic, 2 Thragtusk, 2 Sakura Tribe Elder, 2 Eternal Witness, 1 Veteran Explorer, 3 Maelstrom Pulse, 4 Diabolic Edict, 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Burning Wish, 4 Hymn to Turok, 4 Lightning Bolt, 3 Green Sun Zeniths, 3 Tops, 3 Deeds, a bunch of just 2 Wastelands, a Volar Stronghold, then red, black, green lands. Sideboard is 3 Red Elemental Blast, 4 Extra, a Maelstrom Pulse, a Life from the Loam, a Haunting Echoes, a Green Sun Zenith, a Damnation, and 3 Fire Spells. Now, Twitter, let us know at SCG Live what deck this is, because it's Jund, I guess, but is this like a deck? Is this a real deck?
Yeah, so Josh Wiitanen is pretty happy with his turn 1 Delver of Secrets.
You always have to be whenever you get to play that card.
Yeah, Matthew Strangel going to crack this Verdant Catacombs, going down to 19. Let's see what land he decides to grab with this eclectic collection of cards that he's playing with today. All right, choose to go with a basic swamp, trying to dodge that wasteland. Nice white bordered swamp there. Trying to tell people it's like when you go to a nice restaurant, you're wearing your V-neck T-shirt. You know what I mean? It's the style of the of the white border swamp.
All right, so
Thoughtseize. All right, and Sylvan Library is definitely going to be a card that he's going to want to get rid of here. It seems like any sort of hymn deck doesn't want its opponent to have a card like Sylvan Library, especially when Josh has a Ponder and multiple fetch lands in hand. That increases the value of that Sylvan Library by a lot.
Yes.
So I really don't think you can let him have that right now.
No. Yeah, you got to get rid of the library. Your deck is kind of a slow, clunky control deck. You just can't let him have a card like that. Especially with the access to like Pernicious Deeds and Lightning Bolts.
So Matthew Strangel here, getting that basic turned out to be definitely the right play, because if he had gotten a non-basic land, Josh would have been able to have a really strong turn here in Nimble Mongoose Wasteland. All right, so 3 spells on the top of the deck. It doesn't matter how he sets these up, that Delver's going to flip. He has a Life from the Loam, and that's going to allow him to do some pretty crazy stuff with those Wastelands. So Matthew's going to really have to go deep on these basics if he's going to want to win this game. There's also a Fire Ice there, a card you don't really see in many Rug Delver decks around that often. And no, this is not. Nick Fit is like a full-on Veteran Explorer deck that like sacrifices it to the land that makes like 4 black, and then
this
plays like Titans and stuff like that. This isn't Nick Fit.
It's just like a Jund. He's just using 1 Explorer to like.
It's a Jund control deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
can we name it?
Do you want to name it?
Can we name it something?
I'm sure it already has a name. Right?
I want to call it Red Velvet.
Red Velvet? Oh, definitely.
After the cupcakes that we got today.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely naming it Red Velvet. Or you named it Red Velvet. Whatever.
John Choi is not having any of that. All right, Hymn to Turok. Let's see if Josh does anything to it.
Hymn to Turok is such a powerful card. I often wonder why more people don't play him in this format.
Well, here's a Spell Pierce. Because it's...
You get Spell Snared, Spell Pierced. I understand that, but... Yeah. There are so many times where Hymn to Turok just wins the game. All right, so now that him got countered, Matthew's going to be done with his turn. Joshua, sitting here, deciding what he wants to do. Going to go ahead and wasteland that Bayou. Now, that Bayou getting wastelanded, definitely... how did this Delver not flip?
Because it hasn't flipped yet.
He just he pondered, and he had like a loam and a whole bunch of other stuff. Did he shuffle?
He might have shuffled. Yeah, it probably wasn't good enough. He wanted to stay aggressive. So here we have 2 lands. Still have that Pernicious Deed. Let's see what else he has in store for Josh. I just want to see a Thragtusk hit play. I really just want to see a Thragtusk hit play.
The Thragtusk is definitely a good one. Thragtusk against Rug Delver, very strong. All right, so now that Nimble Mongoose in play, Josh probably just going to pass the turn with, you know, some disruption up, maybe some removal up. Secure Tri-Builder is going to be a good one here. Josh going to have to decide whether or not he thinks Matthew's going to trade that or just going to block sack. And I think Matthew, based on what he's done thus far, blocking and sacrificing is almost definitely what's going to happen. He wants to ramp up to cards like Deed. He wants to ramp up to things like Thragtusk. And Deed, cracking that for 1, that can, you know, severely destroy a board that Josh wouldn't.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Creates, like, if Josh decides to play another Delver, another Nimble Mongoose here, then that Deed could just completely blow him out of the game. Pernicious Deed, another one of the most underplayed cards in Legacy. I have, fun fact, I've never won a game where my opponent has resolved a Pernicious Deed in Legacy.
Really?
It has never happened to me.
That's crazy.
But another fun fact, in Grand Prix Philadelphia many years ago, I had an opponent have a Pernicious Deed in play and a whole bunch of mana, and I was definitely going to lose to it. There was no way I could win. So on my turn, I just cast Loxodon on Hierarch, and he could just Deed in response, and I would automatically lose. But he said, okay.
And then you have Regeneration up.
And then I had Regeneration for my whole team. So
that
awesome. Happened too. He just thought he could get an extra card for free out of the Deed, but I just played into it. All right, so the Secure Tri-Builder getting sacrificed gets a basic mountain. The only cards in his deck that cost red mana are 2 Burning Wishes, and he has that basic mountain. That's going to be really good against a deck that has cards like Life from the Loam and Wasteland. So definitely getting rewarded for playing that basic mountain here right now. Josh passing the turn with 3 mana open. Getting this many lands as Rug Delver, not really where you want to be, but you know, not the worst spot either. All right, that Wasteland comes down.
Yeah, he just played a Wasteland.
All right,
and dropped Pernicious Deed.
Now he's going to leave this Deed up for 1. And not playing around Stifle, completely fearless.
Finally the Delver flips.
Delver flips, but it's a little late now.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't cost 1 anymore.
No, now it costs 0, so
it's even
still
easier.
Still going to do some work here. Pernicious Deed going to put both of Josh's guys into the graveyard, and that Ponder's going to resolve, but Josh, here he's flooded.
So flooded. So much basic lands, too. It's so unique to see an island and a forest inside of a Rug Delver list, like the basics. I mean, I understand you want to be prepared for the mirror a little bit, but it's so high variance that I don't think that's going to add much stock to the matchup. But he's going to shuffle.
You can't keep just a Bolt and a Daze here. The Bolt, your opponent is very clearly some type of control deck. All it represents is 3 life points, which isn't going to win him the game, and the Daze is all but dead at this point.
I am just getting shown deck lists by the other match.
The other match is a
it's
a Tezzeret Stacks deck against a mono brown aggro deck.
Yeah, the mono brown deck. Wow, that seems fun.
Yeah. Both of them sitting at 4-0 right now.
3-0.
3-0 rather. I'm sorry.
Yes, so here's a top, and that's just going to shut the door on Josh. Top is one of the best cards to have for a control deck against a Delver player that has no threats.
Yeah, so, another land. Josh cannot be happy about this.
We found a Nimble Mongoose, actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
And another basic land.
So now he's just going to top, find a...
Thragtusk.
Answers to whatever. And he may be like aggressively looking for a card like Hymn to Turok right now, not knowing that Josh's hand is just completely worthless. But in many ways, you kind of have to assume that it is. Like, your deed resolved. He's just been doing things like Mongoose Go without filling up his graveyard, without cantripping. What could Josh really have? Like, I'd put Josh on, like, Bolt Land or something. You know?
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have his third color. I mean, it could be a couple bolts. You're at 13, so it's not relevant. It could be, like, dazes that are forces that are filling up that he just doesn't have anything extra. Like, you're at just a point where, all right, Green Sun Zenith for 4. Not going to play around Spell Pierce or Daze.
Yep.
All right, so we should have Threshold by now, correct? Definitely has to.
So. Oh, and a Scavenging Ooze. Not a bad one at all.
No, if he's going to keep top decking creatures.
Yeah, Matthew should be able to just very easily deal with this because of what his deck does, but I mean, he has deeds, he's got some good stuff in here. All right, and there's a Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, Scavenging Ooze comes down. It's going to be able to eat up a couple creatures, get a little bit bigger. Put a decent clock on Matt. Matt's definitely now in the corner. He's got to find something. Obviously, another deed would be perfect if he can find access to that. But even a Thray Tusk or a Maelstrom Pulse could just slow the game down a little bit. Diabolic Edict would be good as well.
Ah, and there's a Bayou.
He found a Pulse, so Pulse is going to be able to eat that Scavenging Ooze. He's going to be able to remove the Tribe Elder from his graveyard, so he can't bring that back with Stronghold if he wants to. Like, it wouldn't be a bad play if Josh just says go to bring back Tribe Elder, play it, then you get to shuffle the 2 cards that you don't want on top of your library.
Yeah, if you have like a bunch of dead cards on the top of your deck and you know that because of your top.
It's not that bad. Just getting them all shuffled and having more opportunity to have 3 better cards. Alright, so he draws a Tropical Island, attacks for 3, dropping Matthew down to 7.
Yeah, and both players out of gas here, but still, you gotta like Matthew's chances with that Sensei's Divining Top. Alright, and what has Matthew found on the top of his library now? That's a Burning Wish.
What is he going to do with a Burning Wish? He can go get a Green Sun Zenith, a Fire Spout, a Damnation, a Haunting Echoes, a Life from the Loam, or a Maelstrom Pulse. So is he just going to go get Green Sun Zenith?
He's just going to grab Damnation.
All right, let's just get rid of this Nimble Mongoose now.
I'm sure Josh was much more scared of that. He was probably like, oh my god.
What is going to happen to me?
I fear the worst. All right, Josh with nothing. Top getting activated during Matthew's draw step. And what he wants more than anything else in the whole world right now is a Thragtusk.
Thragtusk would be amazing. He puts him back up to 12. All right, so he just spins, says go, finds a Bloodstained Mire. So then that'll help him shuffle up and try to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Fire Ace is going to tap top.
So Sensei Top looking around, seeing if we can find anything of note. Brainstorm, looking for anything. Gonna keep that fetch land, put back those other 2 lands, keep that bolt.
Magic players, we are 3 spots away from our.
Ooh, we end step brainstormed?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you probably should have waited until his main phase to do that. Didn't really get the value that
He
you
didn't
would
get
want
the
to get.
extra card,
You know?
plus the shuffle. He has to draw an extra card yet.
Yeah, it has to draw that land there, which he wouldn't have another card that's not a card.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things about Brainstorm and Legacy is you really have to make your brainstorms count.
Yep.
And especially when you're playing against a deck that doesn't have Brainstorm. See, Matthew's trying to do the same thing with Top that Josh does with Brainstorm. And he's doing a reasonably good job of that, but you have such an advantage if you're a Brainstorm deck against a non-Brainstorm deck, just because of your ability to do that. You really want to take full advantage of that.
All right, so
So
what
there's
is
a Veteran Explorer there.
Not perfect, but not terrible. Ooh, a Troll Ascetic. So that is going to be able to stop Tarmogoyf, stop Nimble Mongoose. Delvers are still going to have potential of taking over the game.
But Thragtusk would be very nice.
Oh, I love Thragtusk. Who out there loves Thragtusk as much as I do? Because that's all I want to play after rotation. All I want to play is with Thragtusk.
He's like cow.
He's 2 cows.
He's so many cows.
So many cows.
It's just if he leaves play, so I mean, he can just keep making more cows.
Yeah.
And you know, normally cows, you know, not that intimidating, but this cow fights with a soldier and wins.
We found a Nimble Mongoose. Doesn't pair up too favorably with a Troll Ascetic, but he's going to play it anyway. That at least keeps the troll from attacking.
Yeah, Matthew, not really going to be able to attack into a card like Nimble Mongoose here.
He has a Lightning Bolt, a land, and something.
Let's see what he finds on top, and it's a Veteran Explorer.
I've never actually seen a Veteran Explorer. Now I've seen it.
So when that dies, Josh doesn't have any more basics in his deck.
Yeah.
I mean, we can basically be sure of that. He already has an island and a plains. Or an island and a forest, rather. So yeah, Josh not going to want to attack into that Veteran Explorer. It's just going to be bad for him if he does. Taking a look. Matthew clearly found a card that he liked. Oh. He didn't like it that much, but...
but it's going to give him a shuffle. Now, how do you not just start attacking with Troll here? All right. Sometimes I feel like they can hear my thoughts.
I don't think Josh is going to use a bolt on one of those guys. Josh really wants to just draw another bolt and end this game. His opponent's at 6 now.
Delver.
That's a Delver.
Could do it.
End the game really fast. All right, and he's going to play that Delver. Finds nothing of note. And Secure Tri-Builder, is that going to...
All right, Lightning Bolt's going to take down the
Does use
Delver.
the bolt.
And get in for 3 more.
Josh falling to 11 now. Josh still with that bolt in his hand. His
Yeah,
opponent at 6. Another lightning bolt on the top would be good enough here.
Wasteland at least can take down the Volra Stronghold.
But, you know, Volra Stronghold not really mattering that much right now. Not really that good of a card, to be honest.
I like it. I definitely like the
I mean, if you're playing like Witness and things like that, then
Yeah.
I completely understand having it in your deck. But I'm
and
saying
more
that
in
it's
a
not.
cube. I like it in cube.
Yeah, there are a lot of interactions. I've put Muldrifters back on top of my deck with it before, and that's really fun.
You ever put a Muldrifter on top of your deck during the Muldrifter trigger?
Put it back on the top of my deck? No, I mean I've bounced it to my hand. The trigger.
I've actually had to do that because I needed the last card and I drew wrong and it was a lightning bolt, so I had to like put it back on top. I love cube. But all right, so we're still not getting there. We have another stifle. We're losing life fast. We just need a lightning bolt. 1 lightning bolt in this game is over, but Josh has no real control over if he's going to find it. And Matt can find a Green Sun Zenith, a Burning Wish, or a Thragtusk to be able to gain some life. I wonder if that's what Matt's really trying to do. If he is just nervous about his life total.
I mean, that's got to be where he's at right now. He just, he's at 6. He's playing against a deck that has 4 lightning bolts.
Yeah.
At any moment, he could just die to a bolt. All right, so Josh going to look for this bolt. 3 cards. Will he find a lightning bolt on the top here? Looking for that beta bolt, and he does. There's a lightning bolt. Finds a pair of them, and that's it. Matthew Strangel has been bolted to death.
Oh no, we found them.
Lightning coming from the sky,
Bolt
raining
number 2.
upon Matthew. He has been electrocuted to death, and they are going to game 2.
All the storms from the air finally found by Josh. Matthew can't take it. He has no beast.
Yes, Matthew Strangel. Not really the most effective sideboard here. Can bring in Red Elemental Blast, but he's probably also going to bring in Spouts. So I guess the sideboard's pretty good.
I love that look from Josh. Josh just like stared down Matt. He's like, I have no idea what you're doing, but I'm going to try to get a read off of you.
Like, what could he have? Josh Wiitanen is a Versus player from back in the day, right?
Is Versus the game where you flip cards off the top?
Yeah, Versus is it's a game where you play against other people, and you each have to. I don't even know. I was going to make up something ridiculous, but I've never played it before. That's not true. I used to play it a little bit in college, but.
All right, his friends are calling the deck the Jungle.
The Jungle.
What is Josh Whitman doing with his cards? I'm very curious. Is he going to play Memory?
Oh, maybe he's playing Memory. Maybe he's playing Guess Who.
Ooh, Guess Who?
Guess Who's a good one.
We should play Guess Who.
Oh, yeah. There are so many unfair questions in Guess Who, the actual game. And there are just things strategically that you are just really bad plays.
Well, they're doing it real quick. Well, let's play Guess Who, but with a Magic player. So I have a Magic Pro in my head, and you can ask me 3 questions to figure them out.
Okay. Does he wear glasses?
No.
Is he American?
No. Okay, you can ask 5 questions. 3 is too little.
Okay. Has he won Player of the Year?
No.
I'm not really getting much here, am I? Is he European?
I don't know. I think so. If I tell you what country he's from, it'll be a dead giveaway. And he technically is American.
He technically is American?
He's kind of an American. He's an American, but he played for a different team in the WMCQ. Go ahead and guess.
Godanis Vidaguras?
That's it. I thought I was going to get you with the
he's Lithuanian.
Yeah, I know he's Lithuanian. Yeah. I don't know where that's at.
But he lives in New York. He's a lawyer.
I know he's technically American, but he's not technically American.
Well, no, he's not technically American, right?
I don't know.
I
think he was born here. I actually don't know. But
I don't know. He definitely wasn't born here.
We'll play this game again, though. They're still shuffling. I got another one. And
I got it with a bunch of questions that you answered no to, and then...
Go. I got it.
You got one?
Yeah.
Okay. Have they won Player of the Year?
No.
Are they European?
No.
Are they American?
Yes. Two more questions.
Have they top eighted a Pro Tour in the last year?
No.
Do they write articles?
Yes.
Brad Nelson.
But I won Player of the Year. That was one of your questions, wasn't it?
Was that one of the?
I don't know. It's actually you.
You
You got one of the booth people.
No.
Okay,
so yeah, that was one of the questions. I picked somebody who didn't even fit the criteria. How brutal.
Well, I technically tied for Player of the Year, so that maybe doesn't count.
No, you won. You won that playoff.
I did win the playoff.
Yeah.
Josh is still shuffling, and we played our fun game, but Josh's sideboard for this matchup, real quick, we'll get to that, is pretty awkward. He doesn't really have much for this matchup. He has a Grafdigger's Cage that maybe is good, but not really for the Green Sun Zeniths. And an extra Force Wheel. He does have Submerge, so he'll probably Submerge, but he just saw Troll and it's like a control deck. So the biggest problem with Rogue Delver is if you play against a Rogue like deck that has like rock style effects with Veteran Explorer and things like that, you're kind of just like, you know, SOL. It's really hard matchup. They have a lot of like weird removal spells that you can't deal with, and Hymn to Turok and Thoughtseizes. Just a lot of cards that are good against you.
Yeah, I mean, Josh is definitely a dog in this matchup, but Matthew right now is being strangled by the clock. Only 25 minutes remaining, and they haven't even begun to play the second game yet. Matthew's got to play this game a little bit faster. Last game, those top activations ended up taking, you know, upwards of 10 to 15 seconds per top activation. And if you're going to do that when you're down a game, you're going to have a lot of trouble winning matches and not just dropping out of a tournament to draws.
That is very true. White Border Mountain comes down from Matthew. I believe we're going to see a top. It's the only card that costs 1 red except Red Elemental Blast, and I do not think he has a target at the moment.
So...
Or he just wants to play around Stifle. That makes sense.
Okay, playing around Stifle. And Josh, looking at this opener. 3-land opener that's kind of heavy on the lands for a Rogue Delver
really
deck,
count.
but that's fine. One of them's a Wasteland.
Yeah, you have both your colors on a Wasteland.
Oh, was that a 4-land opener, though?
Was it? I've kept 4-land openers if I have a fetch land and a Brainstorm. They're fine.
That's completely reasonable. Any hand with a fetch land
you
and
have to
Brainstorm.
keep a lot of hands that have colored mana because you can sometimes just mull to Oblivion. That's a problem with Rogue.
Okay.
So
I haven't played the deck at all. I'm
and
just
yet
confident
you won't,
that I can at least win 40% of my matches against you. Yes.
That's comical, my friend. That's comical. You think that?
I've been playing decks with 1 and 2 mana cost creatures and Brainstorms for a long time, Brad.
All right, Verdant Catacombs goes to the graveyard.
I think we're about to see a Diabolic Edict.
A Diabolic? Is it diabolical?
I think so. You're about to see a nice picture of Krovax being thrown from... Is he being thrown from Predator? From the Predator or from the Weatherlight? Do we know?
I don't remember.
All right. Where is this mongoose going to be thrown from? And oh my goodness.
It's actually not going to be thrown because it's dazed.
Not being thrown anywhere.
All right, Trop comes back down. Gets to play a Ponder.
All right, so this turn we're going to see a Ponder here from Josh, and Josh really wants to get to start wastelanding things. It looks like he has a Life in the Loam in his hand. And that's a good card if Matthew starts going into the deep turns of the game. Josh brainstorming into a Force and
he's pondering.
Oh, pondered. Okay.
Force of Will is actually not that powerful of a card. I don't really want those 2-for-1s against like a jump player, but maybe Josh is just like, I don't know what he's gonna do to me. Like, he might have some very powerful spell.
Yeah, the problem with Force against decks with Hymn to Turok is that you don't have any steam way too fast if you force something.
Yeah.
You essentially get him twice. All right, so looking now, Matthew Strangel playing that 3rd land, the Wasteland. You know, he played a fetch land and got a basic, but now he doesn't have green mana, which is kind of the most common color in his deck. So he may have a bit of a mistake here. I don't know. Of course, we know that if he had gotten that non-basic that made green mana, that he would have been, you know, wastelanded. But all right, that Force of Will. A big draw by Josh here.
Why didn't Wasteland hit the Trop? Very curious about that. Quick range, grabbed in water, and I see a Wasteland tapped.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I can understand tapping the... perhaps this is a bit of a tell that he has Lightning Bolt in his hand.
Yes.
Or perhaps a Red Elemental Blast. Josh deciding that his lands are more important than Matthew's lands, and he'd rather use that Wasteland to get rid of the Wasteland than lose a valuable card like Tropical Island. Matthew Strangel here with a Sensei's Stiffening top. Does he have a third land to go with that?
I think
Looks like he's going to dig for one.
He's going to dig and find out.
All right, and it looks like Matthew has found that land, put it on the top of his deck. Doesn't want to flip the top just yet. Kind of hoping that Josh is going to commit a little bit to this board right now, because I think there's a Pernicious Deed that's going to come down next turn for him. Josh deciding whether or not it's worth it to start working toward that threshold before combat. Is he playing Thought Scour? Does he have some way to get there? Does not look like it, so I think he's just going to serve for one right now.
I can't see playing Rug without Thought Scour. I think it's just too essential to the game plan. Plus, it's good in like against Maverick and the mirror to submerge Thought Scour your opponent. I'm a big fan of Thought Scour.
It makes a lot of sense. Thought Scour is a good card.
Alright, so 1 damage gets in, and
Life of Alone for Josh. Going to get to return that Wasteland and Scalding Tarn from his graveyard back to his hand. Nice little 2-for-1 for him there. And, you know, very land-heavy hand here for Josh, but...
alright, he finds Bayou and slams a Deed down. Is this going to get forced?
And that's going to get forced.
Even though he has he's got to pitch a Brainstorm. Brainstorm could be very important with all those lands.
You can't pitch a Brainstorm. You have so many lands in your
Yeah.
hand. Too good.
Maybe he'll blow it for 1 and forget to spin his top. Sometimes that happens. I've seen people do that. Be like, sack for 1. Okay, results.
It's at that awkward moment, though, where you say, okay, resolves, and you're just looking at your opponent, waiting for him to, like, pick up your creatures and put them in the graveyard so that you can pick up his top and put it in the graveyard. Because if you just put your creatures in your graveyard, then he'll look down at his top
No,
and spin it.
No, he can't spin it. It's already passed. If he activates the ability.
Try doing it in an open. It doesn't work that way.
Really?
Yeah. On the PT and GP Day 2 level of things, you're right, but...
Wow, he's going to loam again.
That's really aggressive, that loam.
Especially since he like...
Did he force that?
Yes, he forced, and he's loam. Why is he... What's he looking for?
Oh, so he just has nothing.
Is he just trying to dig for wastelands?
He already has a wasteland.
I'm so confused.
So he just has nothing.
Yeah, why does he want all this land?
It's going big. It's going big.
You're gonna have all the lands.
Yeah. Trying to get up to that Avenger of Zendikar mana.
Alright. Oh, if he loams, if he dredges, he gets up to threshold.
Yeah. But
That's
Diabolic
exactly.
Edict.
Yeah. So now
he
he's in
wasted
tough.
a few turns now, loaming.
Yeah. Oh, but he, you know, like a pro, finds the scavenging ooze.
Ooh, Scavenging Ooze off the top.
Like a boss.
It's a good one. Let's see. This top, what's it going to find?
I don't see you using swamp because you have edicts. Like you find land.
Finds a bolt.
Oh wow, perfect timing. I can see why you use a swamp.
Oh, I think the reason he used the swamp is because the bolt was not the top card, but the card underneath.
Oh, and he knew it was there.
So he knew it was there. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Very reasonable course of action
He's gonna
there.
take his creature. I don't like taking creature, getting one life because he only has 1 ooze. Okay, that makes sense. He only has 1 ooze.
We are also taking Simon Draft Challenge.
Druid Days.
It's now, Josh really just has absolutely nothing. I mean, that Daze is going to be really live. And Matthew has already shown us that he doesn't like playing around Dazes, so... It's basically going to be a hard counter here.
Alright, we keep finding more lands.
Spellpierce. Not a bad one at all.
No.
Alright, gets to spin this top.
And get a shuffle effect that he probably wants really bad.
Yeah. Sensei, 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 you gave me a toy. All right, finds another land, and you know, with these fetch lands in play, he's going to keep spinning that top until there's something that he doesn't want on the top of his deck, and then he can just ship one of those lands away and go look for some other fun, exciting toys. I mean, what he really wants more than anything in the whole wide world is a beautiful, friendly Thragtusk that he can play with.
I love playing with Thragtusk.
Of course, if he doesn't wait the extra turn, that Thragtusk is going to fall victim to a daze.
Do you think if I bring corn, the Thragtusk will let me ride it?
If you bring like an offering of corn?
Chocolate?
I think chocolate might kill it, right?
I thought they like chocolate.
Thragtusks? Maybe. I don't know. I never really thought about it.
Apples. What's the thing that they really like? Oh, it's sugar. No, that's horses. All right, I do not like this fetch. That is a bad fetch. Don't ever just crack because you want to thin your deck out. He wanted to save that. I guess, is he going to loam again? But that doesn't make any sense.
Loaming here would be
You
really
just want to
bad.
find a brainstorm and use that fetch line.
All right. And yeah, Josh just with absolutely nothing. But it looks like Josh might just win this match on time at this point.
Yeah.
Matthew is taking way too long to top. You really have to do that quickly. And look,
The problem is you don't have the clock in front of you when you're playing a match. And a lot of players that aren't familiar with, like we're familiar with years and years of tournament magic.
Yeah.
We understand 2 minutes into a match if we're going to need every minute of our match. It's very difficult for a lot of people.
if I'm
to
playing a deck
realize
with Sensei top, I automatically am just in hyperdrive the whole
it.
time.
I've sat down against friends where we know we're both playing slow decks, and we're like, all right, let's play fast. We don't want to draw. And the round hasn't even started yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is it's one of those things. If your opponent is taking a while with each top activation, you really have to press them to move quickly.
Well,
That's something that's pretty important.
It's true, like Josh, it's that middle ground for Josh. Like, he can press the issue, but maybe he thinks he can get, like, when you're in Josh's position, you're not doing anything wrong by saying, I don't care if you're playing slow. That's your choice.
But even for Josh, I mean, he's got to know that he's extremely unlikely to win this game.
Yes.
And by knowing that, he's got to,
But he can't concede it.
He can't concede this game, definitely not. But he can hurry his opponent along so that he has a chance of winning game 3. And a Burning Wish coming down again. This time he's going to almost certainly get a green Sunseed.
You don't wasteland spell pierce it?
I think I do, right?
I don't know. I don't like Burning Wish happening. What did he go get? I totally missed what he got. He just like
I assume it's
flashed it
green
and just
Sunseed. So let's just...
All right, we're finding out.
Maybe it's a
what he
Haunting
got.
Echoes.
I mean, Haunting Echoes has sweet art. But I'm scary.
Ooh, we got a Life from the Loam. That's actually the best thing he could have gotten.
Yeah. Life, yeah.
Jeez. Going to prevent him from casting the Life from the Loam this turn.
But not next turn.
Life from the Loam.
Matthew's
going
like,
to
if you want to
grind
play this
away.
Loam more, I'm in, buddy.
Matthew's deck seems pretty good for a Life from the Loam more. He's armed with things like Thragtusk, whereas his opponent has cards like Nimble Mongoose. All right, Matthew. Time to look at what's on top of that top. Is there something you specifically need? Because if there's not, you can dredge those 3 cards away with a Life from the Loam.
Wiped clean. The slate is gone. You can get rid of them. You can get the Life from the Loam and find any lands that you would like.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Matthew, Josh has a Spell Pierce. So again, Josh is just going to use another turn.
All right, all 3 cards down. Here comes a Life from the Loam.
Another Loam.
Josh Denane. Oh, he's gonna let it resolve.
That's interesting.
Yes, I would just
Interesting
try to have him
choice
loam lock
by
one
here,
more time.
yeah. Right, and
This is where you want
Josh
to
choosing
bring...
to get 3 cards back, none of which
Our Wasteland.
are Wasteland. That's an interesting choice, but
the colors...
we'll see how it works out for him.
he chose the targets and then Spell Pierce.
Chose the targets, and then it got Spell Pierced. So yeah, a long
Josh.
of action. Let's zoom in and see what's going on here. All right, and a stifle from Josh. Matthew taking another gander at what's on top. Can he find what he needs to win this game? Or will he be forced to dredge life in the loam once more?
He keeps.
He keeps. And a Green Sun Zenith. Sure to come out for him. No. Instead, deciding to pass the turn.
He wants a Thragtusk, and he wants it now.
Looking for that Thragtusk. There's nothing he wants more in the whole world. Thragtusk is an adorable creature. Who can blame Matthew for wanting one so bad? Oh, and there it is. Off the top. Moo. Matthew up to 16 now, and Josh, I don't know if his deck has any way to beat a Moo Cow.
If this happens, I think you just scoop, right?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, you can trade and stifle and not give him the 3/3, but you just got to go to next game.
I mean, your opponent still has actual cards in his hand. And he has a loam that does something for him. Because he has Volrath's Stronghold in his graveyard. And then he just has Thragtusks. Lots and lots of Thragtusks.
All of the Thragtusks. Josh Wiitanen.
Josh Wiitanen really digging deep on this one. Deciding, is there any way I can beat a Thragtusk? This Moo Cow is awfully mooey. Its milk is horrible, and
tap the Thragtusk, draw a card,
and getting in there for 3.
Brainstorm, big card, big card.
Yeah. Crashes in for 3 with this Nimble Mongoose.
Rawr! Wait, I bet a Nimble Mongoose doesn't say rawr.
Mongoose more like That's the noise the Nimble Mongoose
somebody,
makes.
when we get this back, can we just get that on a soundboard? I just want that on a soundboard.
Probably a good idea. Another Force of Will for Josh. Probably pretty reasonable at this point. That's just a 5-mana counterspell. Nice Traumatic Visions there for him. Going to be good here. And he's going to need to put some cards back with this Daze. With this Brainstorm. Going to put back that Daze, because at this point, both players kind of have a lot of mana. That Daze, not really the most exciting of cards, but Josh knows that Matthew has a...
He's been trying to build up mana, so...
Yeah. Alright, keeps a hand of Force of Will. Stifle Daze.
Alright, we just need to see what his plan is to race this Thragtusk.
It seems very difficult.
Alright,
Thragtusk
another
is a
GSZ.
powerful monster.
Green Sun 4/4.
And that's about to get dazed. The daze pays off for Josh.
If it's turn 1 or turn 50, you still gotta play around Daze.
Josh cracking that fetch land, falling down to 17. Doesn't care about that life point. Would rather have that land in play.
Well, he wants to get rid of the top 2 as well. From that Brainstorm.
Yeah. I mean,
almost all of the lands in his deck that produce mana are in play.
It's true. At this point, his fetch lands are basically just cards to make his Brainstorms mildly better. And another thing is that he's played a lot of lands that he should not have played. He could hold those lands in his hand and trade them in for cards via Brainstorm. I mean, his last Brainstorm, he had to exchange spells into his deck with that Brainstorm, with all these lands in play. That's crazy.
You have to be able to force with Spell Pierce backup, you know. He's got to. It's a rule.
Against the non-blue deck?
Yes.
All right, so a Ponder.
He finds a Delver.
He finds one of his remaining lands that produces mana. Let's see if he's happy about that. Probably not.
All right, Delver Secrets comes down.
Secrets comes down. Not going to be happy about this Fire Spout that Matthew Strangel has in hand. Luckily, he has a Force of Will.
and enough mana to hardcast it. See, he got to play a Delver, Ponder, and hold Force, and he needed all his land.
Attacking for 5 with Thragtusk, gonna drop Joshua down to 12. Here's Matthew's Fire Spout. And Josh will say, no, I'm going to Force of Will that, but Matthew will say, Force of Will is no good here, my friend. I have Red Elemental Blast. And that guttural response from Matthew Strangel is going to put Josh in a world of hurt.
With 2 dead cards on top of his library, Josh has nothing left to take over this game. 2 dead draws. He has brainstorm locked himself. Matthew has a top, has a green Sunzine, has all the chips. He even has a 3/3 in play, a beast. And that beast looks an awful lot like that Thragtusk that was around the first time. It's Thragtusk's baby, and he's angry that his mama was killed. Was he? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's kind of sad when Thragtusk dies because you see the picture and it's like a mama with a baby. Mm-hmm. It's very clear what's happening.
It's all Lion King all over again.
Yeah. It's no good. Nobody's happy about that. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock in this match. Will either player be able to win game 3 in the time allotted here? It doesn't look very good. Josh's deck capable of doing that.
It's okay, baby. There's another mama in play.
Yeah, but the second mama gets dazed.
No.
Daze, having value on turn 20. A rare sight in a game of Magic the Gathering. Sensei's Dividing Top getting activated yet again for Matthew Strangel here. And he has a ton of removal spells in hand and a Troll Ascetic. Putting lethal on board.
If Matthew hasn't trolled Josh enough.
Yes.
And that is the game. They are going to game 3.
Game 3. Joshua going through all the options. Can the Sylvan Library protect him? Will this Thragtusk token and Troll Ascetic rather read a book than attack him? No. They'll come into the red zone. He'll be forced to take on a game 3. Both these players need to hurry. They need to play as fast as they can. 3 minutes and 36 seconds remain on the clock for these 2 players. Both of them shuffling as fast as they can. Perhaps they have a small time extension from being out of the camera, but you never know.
Well, no, that's their clock.
That's their clock.
Their clock.
Yeah, they are.
So what do you think is going to happen in game 3?
In game 3, I believe that Matthew Strangel is going to start off strong with a Sakura Tribe Elder, but Josh will have a blisteringly fast opening with Delver of Secrets into Daze. However, it just won't be good enough for him because, unfortunately, on turn 5, right before he's about to win, the match will be drawn. At this point, both players looking to only have 5 turns between the 2 of them for game 3. Neither of their decks are capable of winning in that time frame. Are they going to choose to just take the draw with each other, or did they want to play these 5 turns out? Stay tuned to SCG Live for more riveting coverage of Jund Control versus Rug Delver. This Jund Control deck makes for some exciting games.
It does.
Sensei's Dividing Top, Pernicious Deed, 20 removal spells, discard spells.
I think we broke JVL. It's a riveting game. Yeah, Fireside Magic with JVL. Tell us another good story. What about game 3, JVL?
All right, here they are. Doing up as much as they can. Josh almost happy to get this draw. I mean, he's playing against this. This has to be like the worst matchup in the world for Rug Delver. Matthew cannot be happy that he's drawing this match. He got to speed up. Matthew's been playing really well.
Yes.
But just needs to speed up a little bit. Josh, the few erroneous dredges that last game.
Yes, let's see what can happen. Can Josh get a game out of this match fast, like a minute? Like they don't have time to think about mulligans.
The judge watching the match, not concerned with slow play at all. Turn 1 Delver. Let's see. Will Matthew be a gentleman, play this game as fast as possible? Yes.
Lightning bolt. Do we
A
have
lightning
a daze?
bolt?
No daze.
No daze.
All right, now we need to find a Tarmogoyf or
Needs a
something
Tarmogoyf
else
off
that
the top.
attacks.
Does not have any more pressure. And with a handful of counter spells against the Jund control deck, it's looking like we're going to go to draw mode. Matthew Strangel sacrificing his fetch land, searching his library for a basic forest. Yes, look at that. I'm a mind reader.
How are you so good?
I know.
And so handsome.
I'm just the best. What can I say? All right, and will he just play this Burning Wish into a daze, or is he going to wait a little bit and go for... Oh, it's a Sensei's Divining Top.
Ooh.
As we've seen before, this is one of the most powerful cards he can have in this matchup. Josh has no threats. He's going to be forced to Spell Pierce this, and it resolves.
13. 14's locked on. It's actually frozen. 14 got frozen. Nope. This is going to be another...
Oh my gosh, they fast-forwarding 6 seconds at a time.
Is it going to be the Olympics stuck on 2 again?
You never know. Oh, and Josh sacrificing his fetch land
Stuck
on
on
Matthew's
Stuck
end
on
step.
one.
And as a result,
Up to 4-5.
as a result, Josh's turn is going to be turn 1 of turns. All right, so turn 1, here we are. Josh Wiitanen, with 3 turns remaining and no threats on the table, it is actually impossible for him to win this.
Player to win.
Matthew Strangel drawing his card.
Anyway.
Turn 2, will he be able to win? It's a Pernicious Deed.
That does have 20 power and 20 defense, correct? No? Okay. Just making sure, Cotton.
All right, Josh, turn 3 of extra turns. Can he find a threat that can attack for the win next turn? A Nimble Mongoose, if he can somehow give this +17, +0, and counter this Diabolic Edict.
And
No.
haste? No?
Unable to do so. Matthew Strangel with a stranglehold on this game. It's a draw.
They take the draw.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, Matthew Strangel had a Thron in his hand too that he was going to cast 6